into Adelaide, and we were very well looked after by the Royal South Australian Yacht Squadron, and we stayed there for a week. Paula flew back to Adelaide, and then we continued on the journey into with a weather forecast with no wind. So we virtually had to motor all the way back to Port Phillip Bay. We were able to do a bit of sailing as we get a bit of breeze from time to time. But again, we were dodging lobster pots all the way, and we did catch one. In fact, we opted not to go into Port Macdonald just on dark, because we thought we'd pick up another lobster pot, so we just hove two out, and it was very calm, and we didn't go back very far, so we were very fortunate. But then we went along the southern Victorian coast along to this is Portland, into Port Fairy, and it was great to see those green rolling hills of the Otway Ranges. And we'd left the barren coast of the Western Australia, even though we were quite a distance out from the coast from time to time. And around Cape Otway Lighthouse and entering the bay, we had to get clearance from the Point Lonsdale Lighthouse, and that was the dredge. They were working at the entrance, and so I hoisted my green flag, and I called up the lighthouse and I said, I'm hoisting a green flag. This is the calculations for the entering the bay, but I'm hoisting my green flag as it's a symbol, or the old sailors used to use it as a message that they were returning to their home port, and they'd fly a green flag. And I had a few people going through their book of flags trying to find what's significant about a green flag, so that's where it came from. And then up Port Phillip Bay into Docklands, and completed my circumnavigation of the mainland. But I've got to say the boat went really well. You know, when you look at running aground and rip sail and very minor little things went wrong with it. I've now done 17,300 nautical miles in just under 3 years. I got to thank the crew that sailed with me, because the journey wouldn't have been possible without them, and of course without Paula. And so we were married in July, and we're going back to Victoria, and once all this weather clears, we're going to head up the east coast and return in December. So thank you very much. And has anyone got any questions? Now, you asked a question about the Lizard Island. Yeah. A couple of days out of Cooktown, just island hop, yeah. And
Thursday Island?
Thursday Island, we just island hopped all the way out. We didn't do any overnights to Cape York, and Thursday Island was just a couple of hours from Cape York. A very interesting area to visit, yeah. But I wish I'd had more time, but I couldn't have stopped, because I had commitments to pick people up. I had to get out of the area for the cyclones.
And how long was your trip all up?
I left. Well, if you take it from Brisbane here, well, we left Brisbane in August, and we got to Geraldton in November, end of November, and we left in April. You know, that's a short trip across the Bight. You might say short, 7 days across the Bight, and a week from Adelaide to. So it didn't take long from Perth to Adelaide. But it's a long way. Yeah.
What other equipment did you take? I noticed you still had 50 metres of anchor chain.
I had 50 metres of anchor, the standard anchor. I had some spare anchor chain. I had plenty of ropes for spare anchors. I had 3 spare anchors. I had a life raft. I had a drogue. I had a power anchor. And there's been a lot of discussion whether you need a power anchor for a catamaran when you can hove to, and I successfully hove to for 2 nights, and if I'd realised how well that I could hove to, I wouldn't have bought the power anchor. But on the other hand, you've got it, you hope you never have to use it, but it's always there. And the owner of Katie Cat, I think he gives a good description of displaying a power anchor. Yeah.
And fuel?
Fuel, I carried 275 litres on those big legs. I only used 150 litres across the Bight, and when the wind dropped off, we were looking at going into Port Lincoln to do some to refuel, but we got the northwesterly, and we just were able to steam along with that. Yeah.
How did you carry the extra fuel?
I've taken, where it says life jackets on the boat next door, I had 6 jerry cans, and then under the mast I put another tank. I've got a 45 litre plastic tank, and I plumbed that back into the so I can actually draw from the motor to any of the 3 tanks. So you've got the 2 standard tanks and the tank at the front, and I can draw from either tank for either motor. So, and that's a good thing to have. So it's rather unpleasant getting underneath the table pouring petrol in Bass Strait, but you know, you've got to do it, and you know, it's not a diesel, but on the other hand, it's a 10-metre boat with 2 outboards, and you know, the outboards are really easy if you need to do some work on them. In fact, they've done 1,400 hours and no problems at all.
What sort of outboards are they?
The Yamaha 9.9 high thrust.
What about water, fresh water? How do you find that?
Well, we've had a lot of water go through the tank. It carries 400 litres, and I also carried some spare water in plastic containers in case I had a hole in the tank or the pump failed.
Do you ever water?
Sorry?
Like a water maker?
No, I've heard too many stories of water makers, and they're expensive and breaking down, and they use a lot of power.
Yeah, they use a lot of power.
Yeah.
So did you saltwater wash?
Yes, we had this great technique, didn't we, Paula? I've got a saltwater shower, so we'd just go onto the front of the boat, and with a saltwater shower, and we had the Hills water bottle, 2 litre, and with a soap you can, just some shampoo, and you just wash yourself down with the salt water, and then rinse off with the you know, fresh water, only 1 litre or 2 litres, and you know, we didn't have any problem with the
Dishes?
Yeah, we just wash dishes with we use salt water and also a bit of fresh, so we're very cautious.
A bit of variety.
Yes. The other thing I have got is a generator. I've got a Honda One with a 10 amp generator that I have had to use from time to time in the middle of the night, coming across Bass Strait back from Tasmania, when the sail's been shaded by the sail has shaded the solar panels, and we've been sailing all day, and they're into the night, and we might have put the radar on, or and with all the lights, navigation lights, that drain the battery down. But I just plug the generator into the 240 volt connection from the shore power, which feeds 28 amps into the batteries, and within an hour it comes straight back up.
Yeah.
It's
You
fully
would have been aware of power all the time.
Oh yes, very conscious.
All day, every night.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah. My son wasn't. He was when he was with us. I go around after him, turning everything off. Yeah. Yes. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy your sailing.
Thank you.